Welcome all you three-wheel maniacs, it's-a me, Rhino. That sounded better in my head. Anyway, one of the most common questions I see about Rykers is, what model do I get? A 600 or a 900? Well, today, we're going to compare the two, and hopefully help you figure out which of these two popular models is right for you. Now, these two models are almost identical. They look the same, they operate the same, they even sound the same. There's really only three major differences: the engine, the rider modes, and the price. Consequently, those are going to be our three talking points for today. Before we dive into it though, help me out and do all the things like, subscribe, and share this video. Those three things go a long way to help me get my videos out to a wider audience, and it means a lot to me. That's it. Self-promotion done. Let's get into the video. Starting out with number one, we're going to talk about the engine. Aptly named, the Ryker 600 is a 600cc 4-stroke inline 2-cylinder engine. It is cranking out a commendable 50 horsepower and 36.7 foot-pounds of torque. It weighs in at 594 pounds, which gives it a weight-to-power ratio of 0.084 horsepower to pounds. Meanwhile, the Ryker 900 has a 900cc 4-stroke inline 3-cylinder engine. As you can imagine, the larger displacement gets you a bump in power, and this bad boy is making 82 horsepower with 58.3 foot-pounds of torque. It is a bit heavier as well, coming in at 616 pounds, and this gives the 900 a weight-to-power ratio of 0.133 horsepower to pounds. I do feel like I need to mention that both of these engines do a perfectly fine job at highway speed. In my neck of the woods, that's 75 miles per hour and up. And in my experience, you still have plenty of passing power even at those speeds. For a lot of people, this is the end of the discussion. The 900 is faster, must get, but I don't think that's the end all be all when it comes to what you want to buy. In a world where gas is doing nothing but going up, I would find it unwise to overlook fuel economy. The 600 surprisingly does pretty well on gas with an estimated 36 miles per gallon. Meanwhile, the 900 has an estimated 32 mpg. In the real world, my wife and her 600 is getting an average of 34 miles per gallon, and I'm getting more like 30 with the 900. Those extra 4 miles a gallon do add up though, as I am typically the one that needs to get gas first. Now, I would like to mention that I normally am in eco off mode when I ride, and my fuel economy would be better if I rode in eco mode. And this is actually a pretty good segue into our second talking point, and that is number two, riding modes. This is something that I think gets overlooked a lot, because the Rykers will ride completely differently depending on which rider mode you are in. All Rykers that have a 900cc engine have at least these three rider modes: Eco, Eco Off, and Sport mode. I use Eco mode the least. It is mostly reserved for when I take long trips and use it kind of as a rain mode when I get caught out in a storm. Eco Off is my standard riding mode. It is a good medium between fuel efficiency and fun riding, and I find it satisfying for the daily commute. While Sport mode is my favorite. It wakes the 900 up, gives it a better throttle response and a bit less traction control, making this mode my favorite for those twisty roads. This comes at a pretty big hit to my mile per gallon though, so I mostly save it for the special roads like the Baby Dragon. I would love to tell you about the 600's different rider modes, but it doesn't have any. Now, if you've never experienced rider modes, you won't miss it, but if you've gotten to try out the sport or rally mode, you might find the 600 lacking. Ignorance can be bliss sometimes. But those rider modes aren't cheap, and which brings me to my last point. Number 3, price. There is no two ways around it. The 600 is the least expensive of all Ryker models. The current 22s are $1,500 cheaper than the base 900 model. That's a lot of money, and that could go to other things. And since we're talking about Rykers, when I say other things, I mean mods, because no one's bebopping around on a stock Ryker. That $1,500 could go a long way to making your ride super comfy for long trips, or making it super cool for bike nights. And it is definitely something worth considering when you buy. Which should you get, though? Well, sadly, I can't exactly answer that for you. I can tell you that in my wife's and mine's experience, engine size has made very minimal difference in our everyday riding. The only time we have ever really noticed the difference is when we are taking off from a stoplight. The 900 does have more pickup, so sometimes when I'm not paying attention, I end up getting a little far ahead of her. But if horsepower is what you live for, spend the extra money. Get you a 900. If you want to save some money for mods, or because you're just more responsible than myself, the 600 will not disappoint you. And either way, I really love both machines, and you will too. That is going to conclude this video, though. If you are still here, thank you. Not many people make it this far, and you are now in the secret club known as Rhino's Favorites. I really do appreciate you for watching this video to its entirety, and if you haven't already, please do me a favor and like, subscribe, share the video, and in the comments tell me which model of Ryker is your favorite. If you would like to keep up with me on the day-to-day, all of my socials are in my link tree below. But y'all, I'm out of here. You guys have fun, be safe, and chase that horizon.